G'day everybody, this is Mike and Ed from League of Brewers in Nelson, New Zealand. We're here on a chilly Thursday night in at League of Brewers, and we are here to share with you a new beer that we've just launched, which is the Darkside Oatmeal Stout, which has been brewed in collaboration with Craig Boon from down in Dunedin. So a little bit of a backstory, if you like. We have our league table homebrew competition, which is judged every 2 months. And at those events, what we like to do is to pick out a beer that we think is sufficiently good for it to be shared with a wider audience. And Craig sent in his oatmeal stout to be judged at that competition. And it was scored by the judges a 37, so set aside for us to check out. And when we got hold of it, we thought, yeah, this is definitely a beer that we think more people should get a chance to try. So Craig was selected. He sent his recipe up. It took a little bit of time to get Craig up to Nelson to do a brew, but we managed to do that in the late March this year. And this is the beer that we brewed together. So Ed, this is a oatmeal stout. Do you want to talk a little bit about the style and what you might expect in that sort of beer?
Yeah. Well, it's an oatmeal stout, and first thing before I get into the technicals here, Craig, for you, we're breaking Dry July. So I hope you appreciate that.
Sacrifices are being
Sacrificing
made
our
right
liver.
now.
Don't let anybody of our friends see that, hopefully. Anyway, oatmeal stout is a interesting style. As the name says, it's a stout with oatmeal. Before I asked Dan, what do you need for an oatmeal stout? And he yelled out, roasted barley and oatmeal. And I tend to agree. That's probably the main flavor contributing ingredients. You might want to make it a bit more interesting because you want a bit more malt complexity. In this case, Craig used biscuit malt. I'm just going to grab the recipe here. So for malt complexity, he actually mixed Gladfield American Ale and ale. It's always a good idea to mix base malt if you want a bit more interesting malt flavor happening in an oatmeal stout. Don't know how much it helps or not. It's hard to say. In a light beer, it definitely helps a lot. So there's about maybe 70% base malt between those two. There's 8% rolled oats. There's many different types of oats. Rolled oats is probably the easiest and most used types of oats. But we at the shop also sell naked oats, which seem to be very flavorful and give you a beautiful toasty flavor. Or you can get even malted oats, all kinds of different oats you can use. He uses 6% biscuit malt and another 6% light chocolate. Because according to BJCP, you want a nice coffee/chocolate aroma and flavor in your beer. And he uses 600 grams, oh sorry, not 600 grams, 4%. This is a bigger batch size. He uses 4% dark crystal, and that gives you a nice sweetness and probably a little bit of fruitiness as well, which should be in the background. It's supposed to be low to medium. I think maybe even medium high is allowed on the fruitiness in an oatmeal stout. In this case, I don't believe we get a huge lot of fruitiness, which is perfectly for me. Perfectly works for me. And that's about it for the malts. The only thing in terms of hops, which don't really play any major role, is that you want to bitter it to a reasonable amount of IBUs. You don't want much hop flavor or aroma. He used, in this case, EKG, East Kent Goldings, the classic English hop, and bittered it to about 35-ish IBU. Fairly simple, 16-minute addition. Use your brewing software, it'll tell you when to stop with the hops. And that's it, fermented with US-05 in this case, just to keep it simple. So it's probably not very English, but you will have the malts really shine in beer like that. So, looks good. We'll give it a taste and see how it is.
Absolutely. So just in terms of aroma, obviously heaps of roast character in there.
And I get a nice nutty aroma from the oats, I would think.
And some chocolate character. I am getting some earthiness, presumably from the EKG,
Oh yeah, yeah, I get that too now.
but I'm also getting a little bit of fruit in there. Some nice fruity esters.
Maybe even the dark crystal brings some of those dark fruit aromas in.
So we actually poured these beers a little bit before we started recording the video, so the head has dropped down a little bit, but it is pretty stable. Nice dark brown or tan colour on the head.
Man, it tastes good after a week no beer.
Yeah.
Oh, well, it's only been 4 days. It feels like a week.
Yeah, really, really good mouthfeel on that. Very, very creamy. Not too assertive on the bitterness. Very, very easy drinking. Exactly what you want on a cold winter's night, I reckon.
Before we forget to mention it, I believe the ABV is at 5.8%, so it's on the high side of an oatmeal stout. You're allowed to go up to 5.9, and higher alcohol usually means more flavor because you just have more malt in there.
So yes, I think that's quite hard to stop now, considering the dry July challenge has been broken.
That's right, and here, just for you guys to see, this is our little label we made for Craig. It's the Darkside, and it looks like it might be back to front in some form or other. That might be the Pink Floyd effect, I'm not quite sure. Anyway.
Awesome. So we have this beer available for tasters in the shop. Pre-filled riggers or bring your own riggers to fill on demand. And we will produce a recipe kit for people that want to brew the recipe, which will be available online, hopefully inside the next week. And Craig, you can be sure that a sneaky little bottle will be heading down your way. So many thanks, Craig. Fantastic work. We hope you enjoyed the brew day up here. And if anyone else is keen to get along to a commercial brew day with us, make sure you get your beer entries into the league table, and we'll be looking out for other people to select for that experience. Awesome.
Thanks for watching, guys.
Many thanks.